After 5 months of waiting, finally got a shipment of books back from CGC. Stay tuned. Hey YouTube, it's Matt here. And like I showed you, we got a box back from CGC. Now, this is a shipment of books that I had sent off to CGC back last summer when I went to a Clayton Crain signing. Now, Clayton Crain was at the Comic Vault, which is a fabulous comic book shop in Altoona, Pennsylvania. As the subtitle says, this is the Comic Vault in Altoona, Pennsylvania. A really cool LCS. It is in this old bank. This building is well over 100 years old, and they transformed this bank space into one of the coolest looking LCSs that I have ever seen. He was there signing, and he was there all day that day. And my son Spencer and I, we waited, and we only had 3 books signed by the great Clayton Crain. Now, some of these books were fabulous, great art on them. That Clayton Crain, actually, I was able to interview him. He said it was one of his favorite drawings covers that he has ever done. One that he keeps on working on up to this day. Now, here are the books, and I'll show you what they are, but I want to shout out a great YouTuber. I want to shout out Master Blaster and Madam Blaster. Now, what Master Blaster did, he saw my video that I posted last summer. Guys, he made an entire YouTube video just talking about my video. I'm going to be honest with you, I was taken a little bit back. I was completely humbled by that experience, that Master Blaster shouting me out in a whole video.
The Fast Five. And item number 1 is my inspiration. And that is this gigantic spoon, which represents me not being able to do links and graphics. And this represents Matt Woods. Matt Woods posted an amazing video this morning. And he went to one of the coolest comic books.
It was such a nice video. It was very warm, very just absolutely one of the best parts of this comic book community was on display right there in that video. And guys, I'm going to give a link to that video down in the description below. But again, Master Blaster, thank you so much. But one of the things that he talked about, Master Blaster is an artist, okay? So is Madam Blaster. They get art. They understand it. They delve into it. They know more. They've forgotten more about art than this guy will ever learn in his entire lifetime. They loved hearing the words that Clayton Crain was saying on the process and how he went about with doing his art. So that must have been something that really jumped out at Master Blaster. Now, to throw in another YouTuber on this video, a guy that I talk about a lot in this channel, Regie Collects. Now, the reason I even knew that this comic was Clayton Crain's favorite cover that he had ever done was because back in 2020, whenever the world was, still in pandemic mode and shut down, although it's still a little bit in pandemic mode, but you know what I mean. Things were shut down everywhere. Regie Collects was able to do an online interview for this online comic book convention. And so he was able to ask Clayton Crain what his favorite cover was that he has ever done. Now, Clayton Crain said it. He says it was Sensational Spider-Man number 32. And guys, I'll be honest with you, I had it in my collection. I had it stowed away. It's one of those books, and guys, if you're like me, you read a lot of books, but there's a lot of books that you just haven't got to yet. that's in my I hadn't got to yet list of books that I need to read. So the cover didn't jump out at me. Like I've been collecting it. I had it from the day it came out onto the newsstand. I just never read the book. Well, I go into my drawer and I'm like, I have that series. I know I have that full run of that series. I pulled it out and I'm like, this cover is amazing. Now, flip back to 2020. Okay. I had to go away for a couple months for work, and I went down to Mississippi, not far from the city of New Orleans. Now, Clayton Crain was going to do a signing in New Orleans when I was there. Well, it got canceled because of COVID. But the irony about it is that he did do a comic book signing in Altoona, Pennsylvania, which is about an hour from my house. And he did that while I was away going to have him sign books at this other con. So I was like, well, I just missed a boat. I'm not going to be able to get, Mr. Crane's signature on one of these books. So fast forward to 2021, and guess what? The news comes out. He's going to show back up at the Comic Vault in Altoona, Pennsylvania. He was in there. My son Spencer and I made a day. We had never been to a comic book signing ever. Guys, until this past fall, I've never been to a comic book show. So this was a real treat for me. It was something I didn't expect. I felt the buzz. I felt the excitement in the air just watching Crain talk to people, fans of his, and telling them stories. It just, honestly, being in line was an enjoyable experience. Most people don't like waiting in lines, but trust me, it was a fun experience. So whenever I got up to him, I asked him questions on it, and he gave me a short little interview. And I'm going to replay it right here. Actually, I watched you were on an interview last summer. It was an online con is what it was. I forget the actual name of it. A guy, Regie Collects, interviewed you. And he asked you a question, what your favorite book was to sign. And you said Sensational Spider-Man 32.
Yeah.
So I had two of those books, and I figured I'd bring them in here.
Nice. Yeah. But that book is...
It's such a great cover. I mean, every book you do is great,
but that one was... I think when I worked on it, I enjoyed almost every bit of it. Like, I enjoyed, sketching it out, getting it going, and then it still held its design into the... Because sometimes going from sketch to the actual work, it sometimes loses magic, or it becomes like a shell of itself, like it doesn't have
No, that book just stayed amazing.
Yeah. And then after I was finished, I took it to my buddies. I'm like, this is one of my favorite covers pretty much ever. Because, which I rarely do that, or have that feeling. I mean, because usually what happens is I get onto a cover and then super psyched about it. I'm like, this is the best cover ever. Probably the best artist. I'm probably the best artist ever in the world.
Hey, you gotta say it. Just say it, man. Yeah.
And it'll go on my mind, and then I'll be like, geez. I mean, like, people are gonna love this cover, and then I'm finished. And I'm like, terrible. And, I just like, not, and so. But not that one. I actually, I was pretty happy with that one. I mean, where I didn't feel any like negative, kind of like the wave coming back from all that excitement towards it, and then the wave comes back, and then I have a negative moment about it, So that one I'm into it, and I still work on it now and then.
Oh, do you really?
I have different versions of it where it's just a little better, or not better. I try to fix things, but I still like the one original because.
I was looking. You only signed that 6 times on CGC, or I mean on their. Maybe you did for CBCS or something.
Yeah. I think I've seen that a few times for CGC though.
Yeah.
It must have been CBCS. Yeah.
It's done right. All right, guys. Now I'm going to show you what came back from CGC. Now, I haven't looked at the grades yet. My son Spencer the producer, the cameraman, he had set this up for me. I actually don't expect very good grades on these because, one, I wasn't able to press them, and two, I didn't press it because they had spine ticks on them. So I did not expect them to get high grades. I thought the books were in decent shape, minus a couple bit of spine ticks. So we'll see what happened here. Oh, nice grade. First one off the bat. 9.6. I have a feeling this is going to be the better one, but you can see Clayton Crain's signature right here on the side. And I picked it to be at an angle just because it kind of went with the picture. So this was my first Sensational Spider-Man number 32 that I had him sign. Let's see what the other one is. Whoa, nice. Very, very nice. This was unexpected. And I'm going to be honest with you. This has a nice spine tick right on it. On the back cover too. I'm not saying it's the world's largest spine tick. I'm just saying it's clearly there. And I can see it in the case. So, hey, it's a 9.8. I'm gonna take it. I've done a video before on allowable defects within CGC's grading criteria. A 9.8, honestly, is not a perfect book. It's not spectacular. There are allowable defects that are allowed. And I forget the exact verbiage, but there's allowable, issues that are allowed in a 9.8. This one, I'm very, very happy that it came back in 9.8. Same cover. He put the signature in the exact same spot. I love it. Okay. And then there was one more book that I bought right then and there. Guys, I'm a Conan fan, but I'm also a Red Sonja fan. Okay. I love that character created by Roy Thomas, but he used some of Ronnie Howard's previous writings to morph this character into the Conan world. And, oh, sweet. This was the Infinity signature, and I'm going to have to take pictures, I can tell, because it just doesn't show up on the camera. But this Clayton Crain Infinity signature is amazing. Just makes this 9.8 book, which is, again, the Invincible Red Sonja number 1 on us at 9.8. So I took this little video so you guys can see the signatures a lot more clear than what the original video was showing. I love this Infinity signature by Clayton Crain. On this Red Sonja book, it just looks amazing. I love the different colors that he used. The little splash design, that makes it look like a fluid signature. Love this, okay? Now, I don't know anybody else in the business that has such an iconic signature. Now, this book here, again, I love this cover. I asked him to put the signature in a diagonal form. In fact, I made the window bag just for that. If you guys see right by where it looks like a moon is showing up in the picture, that's a spine tick. I'm going to grab a pen so that I can point that out. Now, guys, that's a significant spine tick, in my opinion. I don't believe this book should be a 9.8. I'm not going to send it back and tell them to regrade it or anything, but it just seems to be a little bit, strong of a spine tick in order to get that grade. This book here, I know this is a 9.6, but there's a smaller spine tick on this. To me, it's not as noticeable. But guys, what I liked most about this, I have a handful of books that are signed, okay? In fact, I think you can see a Submariner that's signed. I have a couple more throughout the room. Now, we talked about Master Blaster before. Master Blaster actually kind of got me into exploring signed comic books. Before that, guys, I always went for the blue label because you get more bang for the buck, okay? This is a hobby. There's only so many dollars to go around in a hobby. You can get a higher grade blue label book than you can a yellow label book. So for the most part, I've stuck to the blue label. So that way I could get higher grade in the books that I wanted as opposed to a lower grade, even though it might have a signature that I was looking for. But guys, the problem with buying a book with a signature, yes, it's cool, but you weren't there. You weren't there to see it signed. You weren't there to talk to the artist. To me, I like yellow label, especially if I'm there. There are some exceptions. I've sent some books down to CGC to be signed by Roy Thomas, but I've also met Roy Thomas in person, and I've had him sign books for me in person. So in a weird way, I still like those books. But for the most part, I've shied away from buying Yellow Label books. But I'm starting to like it. And I absolutely start to see how it's a little bit more enjoyable, a little bit more better. But it feels different whenever you were there and you saw them sign it. And then it comes back, with a nice yellow label, but in the case here, I love having this signature, especially because I was able to talk to Clayton Crain, and I got some story behind it. So love it. These are definitely going to be prized parts of my collection. Guys, I hope you like this video. I hope you like the content of this channel. If you do, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and put a comment down below. I want to thank everybody for watching, and you have a great day.